Okay, let's go to Texas now. I'm not sure if he's in his hometown of Baytown, Texas, but Drew Tate joins us, former Red Black, Rough Rider, Stampeder, BC. There he is. He's out for a walk. How you doing, Drew?
Hey, I'm good, Rod. How you doing?
I appreciate you finding some time for us. Clark wasn't sure if you were ready. What exactly are you doing, Drew? Tell us what you're doing at this very moment.
No, I was out. I meant to leave earlier, but I was hanging out with some people down at the water, and so I got caught up, and I was like, oh man, it's already like 11:30 or whatever. So I was going to walk back to the car, but now I'm just kind of chilling, trying to find somewhere to sit so I can so you don't have to see me do all this.
I like it. If you want to walk and talk, let's do it. Where are you, by the way? Where exactly are you at this moment? What town?
Kingwood, Texas.
What's famous about Kingwood, Texas? What's it famous for?
That's a good question. I haven't been here long. My parents moved here a few years ago, so I came and I'm staying with them for right now, and I couldn't tell you much. I mean, I know it's a city northeast of Houston, and it got annexed into Houston. I don't know how, but it sure did. So I don't know much history about it. That's all I know.
That is a very big land space there for sure. We could have just said Houston. So, Drew, what is your life like right now? We knew you were with the Lions last year. They had the change in the coaching staff. You were on the Coastal Carolina staff. You came back up here to play for a while. What is up in your life right now, man?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Well, I mean, I think I'm a casualty, just like a lot of people in our business of the coronavirus. I got offered a job actually at a Division III school in North Carolina as a OC QB coach, and I was all ready to take it. And then 2 weeks later, COVID hit. So, Coach Card was like, "Hey, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he doesn't know either." And so I said, okay, well, I'll just stay here in Houston. And then, because, it's so unknown. No one knew anything of what was going on. And so just stayed here. And now with all this football stuff that everyone's talking about, man, I just said, screw it. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to get certified to be a high school football coach and teacher. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Oh, good for you. Good, because you've got a lot to offer to the kids and pros eventually. That's where you will find yourself. There's no doubt when this is all said and done. So what is your take on the CFL right now? Are you following it, by the way, with the players, and they're going to have to vote by the 23rd? What do you think?
Okay, now I didn't know that. I've been following as much as I could without being, too involved. But I just think it's unfortunate. Like I said, I mean, I think everyone in the CFL is a casualty of this COVID, just like a lot of other people around this world. And, it is unfortunate because I feel like if there's not a season, then it's going to probably put the league in jeopardy. And but with the season that I've seen that is proposed, you said, what, in 2 weeks, it's up to the players to say yes or no, basically? Like July
the 23rd
or something
like that? The 23rd, a week.
Oh, okay. So like a week, yeah, okay. So, I saw a little bit of it. They want like 6 games and then the revenue. I mean, I'll tell you what, and it's the CFL, you're going to get guys that just want to play. They don't care about money, but then you've got veterans that have already established that don't want to play for pennies. So I think that's where your pickle is, to be honest with you. But again, I don't know what they all want to do. It just seems so, the time's running out. There's so many logistics that goes into everything. And then the hub city proposal, it's hard for me to see it. But like, I think I heard you say earlier, it's 50-50 right now, which, I mean, I think that's fair to say it's 50-50, and we'll find out in a week.
Yeah. Drew, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the best interview you and I have ever done. And that includes that time I interviewed you for Big Ten Network. Remember that one when you just showed up in Regina and I interviewed you in the end zone? Do you remember that?
I remember.
Looking back at your CFL career, I think there's a lot of guys that are actually happy they're not a player anymore. I just get that sense from guys that I interview. And with your career, I can't think you got any regrets. You've got your ring. You hold a record. I'm not sure if you know that or not, but I'll get to that in a second. How do you look back at your CFL career?
I mean, it's bittersweet, to be honest with you, but just the bitter part, just from the injuries and not being able to play for my teammates. But the sweet part was, man, I got to spend 11 seasons in uniform, full season. Then I went back to Sask for, 2018, just for the playoff run. So, I mean, I wasn't really involved in that season because I was down in Coastal in Myrtle Beach, but just popped back up for that little run late. And then, I was able to get up to Vancouver for last year for BC. And I mean, I'll tell you honestly, I enjoyed coaching more than playing. No doubt, no question about it. And then being able to live in Vancouver and then coach quarterbacks. I mean, that was the sweetest gig I've ever had in my 35 years on this planet.
Wow. So you got to tell me why, because you got so many buddies in the game. They say, I don't want to put in the hours the coaches do. Most guys don't want to coach. Why do you?
Well, I grew up in it. My dad was a coach. It's all I ever wanted to do. I wanted to use like football as a means to an end. I wanted to play as long as I could. And then when I either got tired of it or no one wanted me, then I wanted to jump into coaching. I love the game. I love what it represents, what it offers. It's the ultimate team sport. It just, I think accountability is the number one thing, not only on players, but coaches too. I mean, everyone, especially in a professional building, just accountability on everyone's part, being professional, just really enjoyed that. To me, I mean, if I enjoy what I'm doing, I'll do it for 25 hours in a day. You know what I mean? I mean, dead serious. So, I mean, if it's football, I can do football all day. It doesn't bother me. And then the best part about the CFL is you get 6 months off. Coaches, players, everyone. So, I mean, what's better than that? Just grind it out for 6 months, football, and then you're off for 6 months. Like, I don't know anything on this planet better than that.
That's a pretty good deal, and you can go back to Texas. Hey, trust me, I get it, but not everybody sees it that way. That's why I'm asking. So 2014, you led the CFL in rushing touchdowns by anybody. That's my point. Do you remember how many rushing? That's running backs too. Do you remember how many you had?
No.
Okay. Well, I think
what was it, like 12 or something?
I got to look it up. But I got to think that's a record for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. But he at least led the CFL in rushing touchdowns, which is saying something. But it's 10. Producer Clark just told me it's 10. Still 10. Not bad.
Okay. All right,
that's pretty good. But here's my memory of you. 2012 West semifinal. Last play of the damn game. You come out from the 35-yard line and find Romby Bryant on a 75-yard touchdown bomb.
Oh, man. Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah. What do you remember? What do you remember about that play in that game?
All right. Well, I mean, the game was already an emotional game. My grandmother was being buried that day, and I decided to play that game instead of go to her funeral in Alabama. And it was actually, if you kind of look at it, and which, I mean, you wouldn't understand, but the way I look at it is that was pretty much the turning point in my playing career. Not saying, I should have gone to my grandmother's funeral or I should have played, but I ended up breaking my throwing wrist that game, and was able to finish it. But what happened was that when I broke my wrist, it just came back. It didn't heal right properly, and then by the next season, I had a tear in my ulnar nerve, which was caused from a loose wrist, and so which pretty much ended my starting career, I think, as a CFL quarterback. So it's kind of one of those things like, oh man, if I don't go to that game, that probably doesn't happen. I can probably still be a pro quarter, like a starter, right? But everything happens for a reason. But that game happened. That was an emotional game. It was an emotional week for me, really, because I found out she had passed probably like Tuesday or Wednesday of that week, and I knew my grandmother, she would have wanted me to play in that game. So all that happened, and then the game was just, first off, being cold. I mean, oh my God, cold, but the game was awesome. It was a great game. I remember, Sass played great. We were kind of up and down, hit and miss a little bit, but I mean, I got a concussion in the second quarter and broke my right throwing wrist in the third quarter, and still was able to finish that game. And it's just like dumb luck or the football guys or my grandmother, I don't know. But someone helped with that. And
do you think the football gods were saying you should have been at the funeral?
No,
I don't think so either. I'm just throwing it out there.
My grandmother would have said, "Hey, y'all, he's got to go again. He's got a game to play."
All our families say that. Of course, you're the Brett Favre of the 2012 CFL playoffs. But so, do you think if you weren't hurt, you would have started in the Grey Cup that year? Yeah.
I mean, I think so. I mean, because, well, I'll tell you what. Now, getting to the Grey Cup might have been a little harder because, the next week we went to BC and they were pretty good playing there. And they kind of laid an egg that game, and I wonder if it was just because, we're playing Kevin Glenn, blah, 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 all that stuff, that they just kind of were like, oh, hey, well, Tate's not playing, so we got this in the bag. And then, they were able to go in there. And I don't think Jawan Simpson played either that game, if I can remember. So I think Duran Mayo stepped in and killed it too. So, I think it was one of those situations. I don't know for sure, but I could just see that playing. The starting quarterback got hurt last game. We got the backup. Like, we're good. We're good enough. And we were able to beat them.
Well, that happened in 07 with the Riders. As you know, right? Did you not get a ring? Weren't you around in 07?
Yeah, it was my rookie year. I was there with Coach Austin the whole season. It was awesome.
Right. I'm just saying, so the feeling. That's probably what the Argos were thinking. And by the way, I love KG, but that was not his best game. He would tell you he was very erratic in the first quarter and first half for the Stampeders in that Grey Cup.
Yeah, that was a hell of an atmosphere, and that was everything. But here we are. We're playing Toronto in Toronto. So Toronto players, they live in Toronto, so they ain't going out and doing anything. Here come people from Calgary. We want to enjoy the Grey Cup in Toronto, so probably on their feet a little more, a little more distractions and enjoying it a little more. And then, Toronto just came out and kicked our butt. Chris Jones had a great game plan on defense. It's funny, a lot of people said that he was watching practices and they had a tell on a couple of our linemen and stuff like that. Who knows, maybe, but, still got to go out there and play the game and win. And, we fell short that game, but, those things happen. And they had, I know Toronto, that they came on strong. I remember Ricky got hurt kind of midway through the year, kind of did his knee, and then kind of came back slow. And then once he came back, they actually kind of took off, and they were a load. They were good that year.
They're a team of destiny. We had Chad Cacker talking. They weren't going to lose that day. there's no doubt. So your Wikipedia says Grey Cup champion 2014, but that's what I thought. You got 2 rings, right? 07 and 2014.
Yeah, I got 2 rings. Yeah, I got a Sask ring and a Calgary ring, man. So and going back to you asked me about my career. I mean, that's a hell of a career. I mean, think about how many guys play 10 plus years that don't even make it to a Grey Cup, let alone win one or lose one, right? So I think I'm pretty blessed on that end. I was able to go to 1, 2, I think 4 Grey Cups and 1, 2. So it was really cool. It was really cool.
That is a pretty good percentage. Listen, I'm sure your arms are getting tired, Drew. Let's do this again. Great catching up with you. I know you're going to be great in the game, so good luck and stay safe down there. We'll look you up when we're in Houston next time.
Cool, Rod. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Drew Tate joining us from Houston, Texas. That was awesome.
That's super cool. Like, I've never had a conversation with Drew Tate. Right? I've never met him. It was before my time getting into the business around here and things like that. But you see him. And on the field, and he's got the tinted visor.
No personality, you think?
It kicks the crap out of you because he's good, right? It seems a little bit like little arrogant,
they all have
got a little swagger, but you get behind the helmet and stuff, and just a great dude.
Or under the helmet.
Under the helmet, great dude.
That's the thing. He's always been somewhat aloof with the media and not very forthcoming. Like when Clark said he had Drew Tate. This went way better than I thought it would. Let's put it that way. Fair?
Yeah, fair.
But you get the guys out of their element because they don't have 573 things on their mind the day before the game or right after practice, right?
Yeah.
The guy's walking through the damn woods in Kingswood, Texas.
What could be better?
What else has he got on his mind? But the other thing is, and I'm going to break, and by the way, John Ohm, where's my gonger? Where is it?
Did you hang it back up?
Did I hang it back? Oh, I did. Why do I always hang it? John Ohm. Says, ask Milt Stegall, no Grey Cups. Ooh, that's cold. But it's true. The guy's got 2 rings. But I'll just never forget the Big Ten Network called me. And they said, we're going to... They basically used me as a microphone stand. They said, we're going to send you 10 questions. Go out there and interview Drew Tate in the end zone. Don't deviate from the script. So I did. And that was Drew's rookie year because he's a really big deal at Iowa, as you can well imagine.
Yeah.
I should be putting that on my resume that I worked with the Big Ten Network. You don't stop to think about it at the time.
Right.
Who cares if they just use me as a microphone stand?
Still happens.
Nobody needs to know that. He's been on the Big Ten Network. They never actually showed my face, which is a good thing. We'll be back with a sports update and... Ryan Ballantyne upcoming, Stampeders blogger, podcaster, and chief punk. It's the RP Show, episode 276 of Canada's morning sports talk show. I'll be right back. Facebook Live, Game Plus TV Network, and listen live at rodpeterson.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.